All right. So come on in, take a sip. Let's wind down. It is the Saturday Guardian Quick, and I am so excited about this because it's like the finale for the week. And then Sunday, there's nothing to do. And so I guess you get a break from me on Sundays. But today I'm winding down. I went across town. I never, on the weekends or on holidays, I never get in my car and drive anywhere. The only reason I drive at all here in Germany is because I work on a United States military installation. There's not a train that takes me to the headquarters of the medical, unit that I'm part of. So, you have to drive, and that's fine. But, with trains and everything available in Germany, just like it is in England, there's just no point in driving to me. I just won't do it unless I have to. But today, I was like, no, you got to go wash the car. It's been icy all week, salt on the roads. You got to get the car washed, get it cleaned up because you don't want it to rot out and rust and stuff from all the salt. And also, I wanted to go to this grocery store that's a good 10 kilometers away from where I live, but it's just ginormous. It's an Edeka, and I don't know. It's like going to like a super Tesco, I guess, right? In England, in the UK. And I was going for some boiled quail eggs because I love those things, hard-boiled quail eggs, but they were out. I was so disappointed, but they had on the shelf. Remember a couple weeks ago when I had this Laufner, the Schwarzer Riesling, and I was just gushing about it, and I'm laughing about it too because I think I spent about €1 on that bottle, and I thought it was like a lark. I just bought it on a lark, and next thing you know, I had to go back and buy the next 2 or 3 bottles that they had, the last 2 or 3 bottles they had of it. Well, guess what? I found it again today for the same price. It was like €1 or 90 cents or something. It was nothing. It was nothing money. I was so excited to see that. I bought every one of them that they had. This is by far one of my favorite wines, if not my favorite wine of all time. I'm not kidding you. And I kind of know my way around a glass of wine, but I'm telling you, this €1, 1 liter bottle that costs €1, it's fabulous. It's pale. It's got all the right winter, spring notes. This is a fabulous, fabulous wine. It's kind of like the German, Austrian version of a French Beaujolais in a way, right? I don't know how well it ages, so I've got them in the fridge because I don't want anything to go wrong with it. But I'm telling you, to buy something on a lark and fall in love with it, this is the way to go. I don't know if you'll have them around the corner where you're at, but if they do, grab a bottle. It won't cost you much. Even if it's really marked up to €2 or €3, grab it, because I've got to know. I got to know if I'm smoking crack here, or if this is actually as good as I think it is. I think it is absolutely wonderful. It was just one of those purchases, like I've never had a box wine before. I think I'll buy the box wine and say, oh, I guess not so bad, kind of a thing. But it's always just not so bad. In other words, I can live with it. This, if all I could ever drink the rest of my life was it, I'd be just fine. And I'd be a bit wealthier too. So there you have it. Just throwing it out there. I am all about logos. I am all about brands. I am all about what's the best and having nice things. I live le bon vivant as best as I can, right? But I'm telling you, this is a fine, decent drink. So with that said, let's hop into our grid here. So what have we got here today? We have got... let's see, crossword number 17,050. So I've got the mouse in there carefully, cursor's blinking. Here we go. Let's see what we got. So be a couch potato. I don't know just yet. 8. Let's see. Long live. Okay. How about Viva? Viva. El Presidente, and then just put a name in there, right? Prospect, In what sense of the word though? There's a couple there with that. Wave, say. The V, vegetate. I'm thinking so. To be a couch potato, maybe to just sit around and veg. And a wave could be a gesture. So I think our prospect is actually a vista, which is cool. That's a clever use of the term, unless it's something very common in England, or in the UK, I should say. I'm sorry about that. To those of you in Wales and Scotland, and Northern Ireland, I apologize. Let's see. Okay. That was somewhat fortuitous that I would go like that, realizing I'd made a mistake and then get after that right after. So I think we got to think, and goodness ain't gonna work. So no, I can't get goodness to work. I got a 7 to go with, so I'm gonna go with heavens. Maybe that'll help. Maybe plunging chair for offenders, 7 and 5, and that is a ducking stool. I mean, it wouldn't be a chair since we're using that in the clue, so I guess we're going with a ducking stool. I think that's something right out of the British literature that I enjoy so very much. North African cooking pot. Wow. Man, if I remember when I finish this grid, I'll go snap a picture of the top of my stove right now. I have a tagine there because I was planning on making Turkish eggs tomorrow for my dinner. You know, I eat once a day, and it's in the afternoon, right before I do the grids, which is why I'm always in a good mood. But yeah, I was gonna do Turkish eggs, so I got the tagine pot there on top of the stove, and I got to snap a picture of it just to show you. Like, seriously, they're sitting right there. Atlanta State, and I guess for non-Yanks, this could be kind of an exotic clue, I imagine. Compulsory enlistment, and that would probably be conscription. We haven't had that in the U.S. since the early 70s or something. I think the Vietnam thing just kind of led us to, as a nation, to an all-volunteer force. And so I never served with anybody. Well, I served with people who were conscripted and in Vietnam, but then they found their place. And we're talking about my friend Frank. He was a staff sergeant. He was happy at that rank, and he'd been in since 1970. He spent 2 tours in Vietnam. I mean, you know, he just liked it there. You know, he didn't think he'd like the Army. I think his old story was it was either join the Army or go to prison or something. And he was like 17, and in the Army he went. But yeah, that's yeah. But we didn't have any of that. I didn't have any. As an officer, I didn't have to deal with anyone who was conscripted. Everybody was there, I don't know, voluntarily, which was nice, I guess, because I never had a lot of those issues. Low toned, so I guess that could be an alto or a bass, maybe. What do we got here? Unimportant person, 5 and 3. I don't know, a bass or alto. Yeah, I guess bass would be, if that's an S, I guess it could be like a small fry. And now I'm really just out here on a stimulating drink. Could be a bracer. Yeah, I like those. Sometimes it's just having that glass of scotch before you do anything for the evening, right? Or before you go to bed. Low toned again now. I think we've got the bass, and what this is, problems and difficulties. This is where I get smacked in the mouth. This is where I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I don't even know. It doesn't even ring a bell. And it's not like exec/suit from yesterday where I'm still kind of smarting from that one. But I don't know. I don't even know where to begin to guess on it. I mean, maybe angio is in something cardiac related, For grins and giggles, I'll put it in there, but believe me, even if it's right, I will not take credit. I am hereby declaring that I am forfeiting any chance of getting a W on this grid. Alter area, 7 letters with a C. This is probably a chancel. And so a Christmas performance, interesting. I guess you got to hear a nativity play. And I'm no expert on nativity plays, but it's funny. I think in the States we would call them nativity scenes, or maybe it's the scene that's so famous within the nativity play. I don't know. I mean, I'm, again, kind of clueless on that, but that is going to be part of my homework. Nativity scene versus play, because you know what, this is important stuff. I think we should know. If it's all that interesting, I'll fill you in on it tomorrow, but I'm just going to use my phone to Google it, so yeah, then we'll find that out. Irritating. Oh, I blank C. How about itchy? Person coloring clothes. God, I like how y'all use. I mean, it's like the English. The real English that you're using, not what we do, the variant that we have in the States. It's a variant there. Person coloring clothes. This is the coolest thing ever. I mean, you got a dyer here, clearly, but maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking. But just love that you know. We have it on the word pour. You're going to pour me a drink, right? You know, why can't I have it in color? I mean, I don't understand that. Author, The Long Goodbye, and that's a Chandler book from, I think, the early-ish 50s, but I loved it. And connect, maybe attach. And pungent gas at 7. Oh, I mean, it looks like it might be ammonia. Put that in there, but I don't know. We can change that if it's not right. Belly could be a tummy. That's interesting, too. I did not realize that y'all maybe said that. I don't know. I just thought that maybe like an Americanism or something, you know. Oh, my tummy hurts kind of a thing, you know. I mean, whatever. Rising and falling toy. Okay. I mean, this is a classic example of what makes these grids so interesting. Rising and falling toy. 2 and 2. It's a yo-yo, right? Unless there's something they've invented that I don't know about, but I'm thinking it's a yo-yo, right? And you have that in here along with chancels and Chandler novels, and not to mention vistas as prospects. I mean, I'm just simply saying. I mean, this is what makes these so interesting, which is why when I see something like suit, I'm not thinking something kind of slangy, like, you know, for an exec or, you know, whatever, right? You know, like, you know, the account guy is a suit. I was an advertising exec for a long time, but I was not a suit because I was in the creative department, right? So I was the art guy. I was one of the creatives. And we always referred to, and that's what it was. You in an advertising agency, you kind of have MBAs, got your Masters of Business Administration that are all suits. And they all studied marketing, right, you know, and crap like that, you know, and then you have those of us who are in the creative area that we all have MFAs, right, you know, Masters of Fine Arts or Masters of Liberal Arts, and we're working over on the creative end, writing and scoring music for jingles and, you know, directing TV commercials, photo shoots, you know, illustrating a family eating a turkey for a billboard campaign for, I don't know, Swanson something or other, Thanksgiving deal. That's what, you know, so it's always the suits versus the sandals, right? They always called us sandals at the time, right? And that was just always kind of funny, but I didn't even think of that. I'm in the grid for the Guardian and it says suit. I'm thinking, then it must fit somehow. It's something that applies, is relevant to something, right? It suits the whatever, and next thing, it's an exec. You don't know what you're going to get with this grid, and that's what makes it amazing. So that dilemma would be a quandary in my way of thinking. So, and okay, what do we got here? Is our last one. Bumpy could be uneven. So, okay, I know I didn't get the W, but it is nice for a change to at least have this whole thing filled out. I'm fairly certain it's not angio. It's 6 down. Go ahead and put this over here and highlight this because we know it's not going to be right. Problems and difficulties. So got my pen ready to take my notes for whatever it is I'm going to learn here. Let's do a check all. Of course. That's all wrong. But everything else I had was right. So you have to admit I'm getting a little bit better on occasion. Unless you just threw an entire grid at me of nothing but problems and difficulties, right? Now watch this be something that I actually do know, and that's going to be so embarrassing. Aggro. Never heard it in my life. I'm not embarrassed one bit. Okay, fantastic. Aggro. Problems and difficulties. Very nice. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I just love this. This is great. And I love sharing these videos with you. As always, my name is Christopher, and I am delighted that you're here to solve this grid with me. That just makes my day. So, yeah, out with the old and in with the new. Speaking of gestures, right? You know, like I feel like when I ring that bell, I got to bring my hand up like, hey, you know, like I just swirled a cowboy pistol around a whole bunch, made it kind of a cool little trick before I put it in my holster, right? So I got to put a little edge on that, right? You know, like, hey, kind of like the Fonz or something. I don't know if y'all know who the Fonz is. I imagine you probably saw Happy Days back in the day. I don't know. Anyway. So with that said, thank you all so very much for liking and subscribing. And I really, really do appreciate everything, all the support and all the kindness that I get out of the UK crowd and those around the world who like solving the UK grid. So this is fabulous. Thank you so much. And until we see you to Monday, because there's nothing tomorrow here. Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, servus, grüß Gott, ciao, Cin-Cin. Be good to yourselves, be great to your neighbors, and be especially kind to the person behind you in the queue, to the bloke behind you in the queue, to the mate behind you in the queue, to the fellow behind you in the queue. And we'll see you on Monday. Be well, enjoy your Sunday. Cheers. Be well.